Computer. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Trash Pandas Interviews. Today we have a very, very special and exciting guest. She is different than I'm pretty sure we're ever going to have on our podcast again. So this is going to be really, really cool. Her name is Kristin. On YouTube and on Instagram, you can find her at A Rural Squirrel, which is one of my favorite names, given that we are Trash
Favorite
Pandas.
name forever.
And Kristin is extremely accomplished on social media. She has over 11,600 subscribers on YouTube and over 750,000 views on her YouTube channel, which is absolutely insane. She also has over 8,000 followers on Instagram, which I thought was really cool because Instagram is super hard to grow. And she has been doing this for over 3 years on social media. She has so much experience across plushies, shoes, clothes, hats. I mean, this is going to be such a cool and fun conversation. And
One of my favorite reselling YouTubers for years.
Aw,
so,
so sweet. You forgot the part about where I walk on water, though.
oh yeah, well yeah,
I mean,
didn't
you
want to
built
lead
me
too
up
far.
to be something. I don't know if I can match that.
You absolutely can. Before we do these interviews, I am the type of person who will sit and do like hours of research on something, and it's so much fun for me to dive into your story and your background, and I have so many awesome questions to ask you. And Bethany has been following you for a super long time,
Yes.
so
Aw, thank you guys so much. I really do. I honestly appreciate that so much. That's really means so much to me. So thank you. Yeah, we've been, it feels like I just started doing this, but when you said 3 years, I was like, oh, wow. I've been doing this for 3 years.
you've also been on eBay since 1997, which is insane.
So
I was
cool.
born in 1999, which is like that is so. I mean, that is so cool to me. That's not meant to be like, oh, that's a long time. That's meant to be like a whoa, veteran of understanding the platform, which is
Yeah.
super
yeah.
cool.
It's
Yeah.
been a long time. It was Wild West when I started. I've told people before that we used to get cash in the mail and they would like line up their coins and tape them to the paper and send it to them. And then you had to, or sometimes, money orders and stuff like that. And then there was no tracking system or anything. You just put your stuff in the mail and sent it to them. And when it got there, it got there.
And
It
if it
was,
didn't, it didn't.
I mean, but I don't ever remember having any troubles like that. I
No.
don't ever remember there being like people getting weird or mad or opening cases. There wasn't stuff like that. It was just it was a good old boy system kind of thing, if you will. I don't know what else to call it. It was a Wild West. It was fun.
It was a
Yeah.
Still
trust-based
fun.
system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Still fun, just different.
Yeah. Well, we're really grateful to have you on today's.
Yeah.
I don't even know what this thing is. I don't know if it's an interview series, if it's a podcast. I don't know what it
It's
is.
everything.
It's everything all at once and nothing all at the same time.
Yeah.
It's
But
everything, whatever.
I'm really excited because when I was looking into your videos and I was kind of doing some research, I was really curious and this is a question that I think is going to be a staple question for sure because it's going to help people watching kind of see if this is right for them. But what were you doing before you got started reselling?
Oh, like everything. So I kind of fell into it a little bit. Let me start there because my husband's job made us move a lot and we had little kids at the time, so I needed to have a job that was flexible with their schedule. So I've always had a little bit of reselling in my back pocket where it was just a little bit of fun money. And then that's why it seems like I've been doing eBay for so long because I have. It was just back there, but I worked at the schools a lot because it had the same schedule as the kids. So I have been a coach for volleyball for 26 years. And then I worked in the classroom a little bit, helping some of the kids. And I worked at Joann Fabrics where I was education coordinator. And I had my own brick and mortar store for a long time. So, I'm sure there are other things in there too. I worked corporate banking. I've done waited tables. I mean, everything. I've done it all because since we moved so much with his job, I couldn't necessarily have like a career. And the eBay thing actually ended up being the most flexible, most profitable way for me to have spending money and to cover things for the kids and pay some bills.
No. That's super cool. And it sounds like you were doing a lot of things related to clothes in general at different points from the brick and mortar store, or I guess maybe not just clothes. Was it everything that you were selling?
So the brick and mortar store, I was the girl when you go to an antique mall and you rent from, I owned the antique mall,
Oh,
only it was just like arts and crafts. So it was like 90s, 2000s when that was super duper popular. And so we had the building and you guys would come and rent it from us. That was Mr. Squirrel. He wanted to pop in and say, I was like, no, I told you,
You're more
2:30.
than welcome to pop in and say
I
hi.
want to say hi, Mr. Squirrel.
He's kind of camera shy. I'm really surprised I got him on camera for that last video anyway. So
Yeah. So you were renting out the antique mall to other people who would sell.
I rented the space to, yeah, if you had arts, crafts, antiques, whatever, and then I would cut you the check at the, so we processed all the payments, we took the rent, we just gave you the space and did the advertising and did all the selling for you.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So what was the first item you ever sold on eBay?
It was a Longaberger basket.
Do you
So,
remember how much you sold it for?
uh, I want to say it was like 50 or 60 bucks. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I'll remind you, it was a long time ago.
For
And
sure.
I think, and I sold it for somebody else. So they knew that we had been on it, and my husband had his account, and we sort of shared an account for a while until I got my own. But I sold a few things for like a consignment situation for a little while. So I remember shipping that thing thinking, this is it? I'm just gonna put it in a box and send it on its way. That was so easy. So yeah. What's the first thing you sold?
I was just thinking when you said that the first thing you sold was for someone else. I think the first thing I sold was for you.
What was
The
it?
very first things I ever listed were your books. All of your books that you were trying to get rid of, the first thing I ever sold was a book. Probably for like what, $4?
Maybe, yeah.
$4,
It must have been
$5.
something.
Like just books.
Yeah.
Ah,
I have a book obsession. I'm a book hoarder for sure.
well,
Mhm.
I
not a
like to
bad
look at
thing to
them.
be obsessed with, you
Well,
know.
I just like to look at them. I don't read them very much. Honestly, like
Joking.
I buy a
You
book.
So
joke.
you're a collector.
Yeah, I'm a waster of money on books. That is
But you
definitely a
read
good way to
them.
call it.
You read them.
I skim them,
He
you know
just
what I
doesn't
mean?
read them as fast as he obtains them.
Yeah, I
Oh.
definitely I was buying a lot of books at one point that would just sit on the shelf because they're nice to look at, you know? Like there's
Yeah.
nothing better than getting like a box with basically a box of information in it that is just gonna sit there until
Yeah.
one day I need it. Right?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and sometimes you got to clean out your closet, you got to clean out your bookshelf. So I would clean out his bookshelf mandatorily from time to time.
And then it sort of snowballs and evolves from there, doesn't it?
Oh, it always does. Because it's just an
Ah,
addiction. You list it, it sells, you list it, it sells, and then you need to get more stuff to list, and you ran out of things in your house. So it's all for me. I
yes.
just realized it did begin with things in our home.
No.
That's funny to
Yeah.
think about.
The first thing that got me like hooked, I went into what I thought was going to be a regular thrift store, and it turns out it was a Ben's in
Cool.
Aurora, Colorado. It was Denver. I didn't know what I was getting into, and I think that some people, when you walk in for the first time to a Ben's location, you either go, "Oh no, get me out of here," or you're like, where do I start? And that was my first, that was my instinct, was like, I got to start digging. And I found a pair of Tory Burch wedge sandals with a jute heel on them. And I was like, these I feel like might be good. I didn't know anything about Tory Burch. I didn't know anything about it at all, but I brought them home, put them on eBay. That was the first time I picked something up that wasn't mine.
No.
And they sold for this one, I know they sold for $89. And this was probably 12 years ago.
It's
To
so
me,
cool.
that was just so much money. That was
Yeah.
so much. And then I was like, I gotta go back. But then I was going back all the time. And then it did become a bit of a hoarder situation until you learn how to manage the pile
Mhm.
Yeah.
and try to keep it controlled so that you can sell more than you bring home.
I feel that issue too. I think all bin shoppers feel that.
No, you want to save it all, don't you?
Yeah. No, I
You
mean,
wanna-
There have been so many times I will buy the bulkiest item I've ever seen in my life. And it just
Yeah.
sits in the closet because I can't figure out how to photograph it. But how can I leave it and send it off to a landfill?
I know, that's how I feel. Or you bring something home thinking, this is so cool. And then you get it home and you're like, I don't know if I want to ship this.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that
At,
seems to be my issue sometimes too. But thank goodness for Marketplace, right? You can put it
at,
on there.
at one point, we had to liquidate, I think, like 200 pairs of shoes because she just bought them and they were in a we call it the Harry Potter closet because we had this Harry Potter closet in Austin. And it was like you walk in and there's like a little Harry Potter thing, and then there's a left, it goes all the way to the back, and it was just
Oh,
My
filled
kryptonite is
with
shoes.
unlisted shoes.
I don't know.
And
I just bought them and I bought them and I bought them, and then you have to clean
uh,
them, and I wouldn't clean them as fast, and I couldn't stop
as
buying
fast.
them.
She
Okay.
must have
I
listed
cleaned
two of the
some.
200 pairs of shoes.
The problem is that how could you not buy it if like they provide extra weight for you to go down in price, so it was like they were free. And I was like, I
oh, yours is on a graduated scale. So the more you
exactly.
buy, the cheaper the price per
Yeah, so
pound.
I was like, I need
Yeah.
those shoes. I need to get to that 90. It was 99 cents per pound when I first started going to the outlet. I don't, I was probably like pretty cheap then too.
Mm-hmm,
But oh
mm-hmm.
man, how could you not?
Oh, and the shoes are my favorite part to go to. I
Hmm.
I think because although most of the time they weigh more, the the ROI, the return on your investment for those things usually is way better
Yeah.
than just like a sweater or something. The sweater's way less, but you get more bang for your buck, I think, in the shoe department.
Oh, I
My
agree. I'm not
opinion.
gonna lie. I have definitely been looking at shoes now. I have not sold shoes for a long time, but I have been looking at the shoe bins again. I've collected a few that I am gonna
Sean's like, ooh.
sell.
Yeah, no,
Very, very
absolutely.
rarely. I have like 4 pairs, but I'm gonna sell them, I
And guess what?
promise.
They're not listed.
I'm
So,
gonna sell them. I'm gonna sell them.
I
um,
feel like I walked into a little conversation that you guys are having about it.
no, no. I mean, at a certain point, you just kind of got to give in. You know,
Oh yeah. When
you
you
lose,
know
you
it's
lose. There are
when
some
you know it's
battles worth
good that
winning.
do you clean like when you clean your shoes, do you make them like brand new or do you watch for the ones that are already cleaned?
What? There's no cleaning of shoes that happens, Kristen. I
Oh.
think we're having a
That's the
separate
problem.
conversation. This, this does not. There is no cleaning. There is no listing. There is just purchasing and looking at. That's all that happens with the shoes with
Mm.
Bethany.
So
That's why
Sean
I'm not
likes
allowed to
books,
buy them anymore.
Bethany collects shoes. I
There you
understand
go.
now.
Yes, we all have our
Yeah,
weaknesses. You know.
yeah.
That's
When
right.
I did clean them, it was quite peaceful. And you get like the little magic eraser and you just clean, you clean, you clean.
Yeah.
My problem is I would probably clean it to perfection. And then I
Mm.
would spend so much time cleaning one shoe that I'm done after three and I don't want to look at the rest.
No.
Yeah, you kind of got to do it in like a batch, like batch work a little bit. I do that with my listing too, but I try to do it with the cleaning. But I completely understand because I'm sitting here looking at a ice cream maker right there that I need to it also is one of those things that I have work I need to do to it. And I just keep avoiding it. So I put it right here in front of me so that I can look at it
That's a
to
good
make myself do it.
tactic.
So,
Mhm.
based talking about like shoes and things that sit around, one thing that I was gonna ask you was, what was that transition period? It sounds like for a long time you were doing it just kind of for extra fun money. What
Mm.
was the transition period where you looked at it and you go, "Oh, I could actually make like pretty good money doing this, and this could be something that I do, whether it's part time or full time. This could be something I could do as my
Yeah.
main driver's income."
I think it was probably in about maybe 12 or 13 that it occurred to me that the margin of the things that I had was good. But with everything, it comes down to time too. So, I mean, when I had all the kids at home and taking care of them, it was easier to fit it into their schedule and their time. It was so much more flexible, where
Yeah.
I could probably have the same income from doing things in between soccer games and volleyball games and math homework and stuff like that, that than spending my whole day in a cubicle working for somebody that doesn't even know who I am. So it felt like I was so much more in control even when I was not in control because the kids had to go here and the husband had to do this and they had to have a bath and dinner and people want to eat and it was crazy. So when everybody went to bed, then I could take a few pictures, put a few things down. That's whenever it clicked for me that, wow, I'm actually buying the knee pads and sending them on their field trips and getting them the Vera Bradley bag that they have to have, you know, that kind of stuff. Uh, it was probably when they were still in school, but I was still working that I realized that it was so much more than I was able to give it even time at the time.
Yeah. So did you leave the job that you were at and then officially decide to go full time, or did it kind of just gradually switch over?
It gradually switched over. So we, like I said, we'd moved a lot with his job. So that the one move that sent us to Colorado, and I had to be home because the kids, we had nobody out there to help us. So I started doing that a whole lot more. I didn't have an outside of the home job. So it just allowed me a lot more time. Kids were at school all day. I just started listing like crazy. And that's when it did sort of snowball. And that's when I found the Tory Burch shoes. And that's when it just went nuts. So,
Yeah.
and that was also a time when you didn't always talk about that's what you did either.
Yes.
You didn't tell everybody that you buy someone else's garbage and put it on eBay.
Yeah,
So
we
Yeah.
did that in the DMV line 2 days ago. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago?
Yeah, it was yesterday.
Yes, yesterday,
Yeah.
and that was an intro because we live in San Francisco, and obviously everybody here is making $475,000 a year pressing buttons on computers.
yeah.
Just joking for all the people in the Bay Area, not really, but just joking.
Not really.
You'll be
But
replaced
awesome
you'll
for
be replaced
them
by
too.
AI.
You know,
Yeah,
it's whatever you're willing to trade your time for.
of course. Yeah, no, of course.
Mhm.
And she looked at us like we were nuts. She did not
Oh,
understand at all. She was like, "Oh, so it's like a little hobby you guys do." And we're like, "No, we do this full time." She was like, "Together?" And she was like, "So what does he do?" And she was like, "We do it together." And she was like, "Okay." Like,
no, it's
yeah,
such a foreign concept to people.
yeah,
Yeah.
It,
yeah,
it's non-traditional, which seems weird to me. We have a store. It just is on the computer. So our store is wherever we want it to be. I
exactly.
know it's really confusing for people, but so I think that, you know, in about 13 is when it just really boomed. And there weren't a whole lot of other people, at least that I knew of. I felt like I was on an island. Like I knew other people were doing things like this. They had to have been,
Yeah.
but I didn't know anybody else that was doing stuff like this except for Aunt Sherry.
Yeah.
So it was when I started meeting other people that were doing this too, then it became like so fun. Like we always had an office party. We could do whatever we want, whenever we want. You want to go shopping? Yes, let's go shopping. And as soon as we're done, let's go get coffee. It became more than a job. It became, it feels like a hobby with job money. So you can't be wrong with that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I agree. I mean, it just exudes out of you how much you love what you do, and it's just like
Ugh,
so. It's like I feel the same way. Like I love
yeah.
what we do so much, and when you have that, it can really feel like a hobby with job money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, I hope that the people that are pushing buttons on a computer for 400K are having as much fun as we are, you know? That's the thing.
For
Life's too
sure.
short. I want to have fun whatever I'm doing, whatever it is.
I completely
Yeah.
agree. And speaking of fun, that actually is a good segue. So you are a very, I don't know about predominantly, but you can tell me. It seems like you go to the bins a lot. Are you mostly a bin shopper, or are you kind of like split between bins
Hmm.
and flea markets and stores, or?
Yeah, I prefer to go to the bins because of the cost of goods.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
mean, they're so I like yard sales. They're fun. You can probably get a really great cost of goods on that too, but I don't like to be lost. And I don't like to be lost in a car.
Yeah.
So if I can't find the place and then I got to drive to it and then I got to get out and then I can get all the same stuff at one stop. I just go there and then it just is so much easier to me. I don't want to fight the traffic to go from one place to the next. I would love to go to an in-person auction. Those are great,
Yeah.
but few and far between. I love an estate sale. I love flea markets. I just feel like I get more out of it when I go to the bins. I know that some people go and they're like, I never find anything. I don't know how you find anything. I guess you just learn to look everything up, and you guys have known this. You start going off of your instincts and your gut, and I've been doing it a long time. So I have, some life experience with some of that. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to start looking at everything. Do you guys do this though? When you are out in public, do you you look at a guy and you're like, oh, I think I could probably get 50 or 60 bucks for those pants. And do you see
Oh,
Yes.
that
we are
belt?
walking menaces.
Seriously.
Like sometimes he'll be like, "You need to take a picture of those pants and look them up." I'm like, "I'm not taking a picture of that guy."
I know- Yeah, well, I know it does get a little awkward sometimes, but but I do I never think of it as being like judgy
Oh
or
no.
I'm curious, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that bag looks so nice. So I'll tell her, "Oh my gosh, your bag is so nice. What is it?" So then I can go look it up later.
Oh yeah, it's honestly, especially where we live now, it's like a walking fashion show. And
Yeah.
just it is just like evidence, it's proof in the pudding that like, okay, I see this everywhere. That's exactly what I'm going to go and source.
Yeah, for
hmm
sure.
Yeah, jealous that you have that just that market to be able to learn from
Mm.
where you're at, just walking down the street.
Yeah, it's
That's
definitely an
cool.
interesting experience going to see people what they're wearing and then going to the bins and being able to like find a lot of these pieces too. And
Yeah.
I was kind of curious too, when you're going to the bins and you are digging and you're kind of like looking for your treasure, what is your favorite part about the bins experience? Is it
Hmm.
the actual dig itself? Is it the finding the item that you know that's going to sell for a lot of money? Is it buying it for $1 and then like when you see the cha-ching pop up for like 100 or 50 or 20 and seeing like, oh, I paid $1 for that piece. Like, what is your favorite part of the bins experience?
Yes. All of that. Yes.
Yes, just yes.
So it used to be finding that one or two pieces but that makes that's such an adrenaline rush. You can't just find that one piece. I feel like sometimes, okay, as an example, I will keep digging until they close. So I have gone when they open and they've made me leave when it's time to go. So from 8 in the morning to 8 at night in the Denver bins, I love digging. I love seeing what people throw out. I love trying to figure out what some weird items are. Like, what is this used for? Who knows what this thing is? Is this a part or is this a piece? And then what does it go with? And ooh, can I find the thing that goes with it? I love all that, but then as I've gotten um like going with friends is so much better. It's so much better because you can just play off each other and learn about different things that you didn't know anything about, and it makes everything so much more chill and celebratory whenever you do find the Gucci bag in the bins. I mean, it's just so much better whenever you're going with friends. I'm fine going by myself. But I, I think it's all of it.
Yeah.
It's learning something new is way more exciting now than how much I'm going to get for the Gucci bag.
That's cool. Yeah, I think that
Is
definitely
that the Gucci bag?
the Gucci bag.
From Orlando.
From Orlando, you know. Oh, okay. Then here, I have questions for you then, if you know, because this thing has got some condition issues.
Okay.
What would you do with it? Would you flip it in the condition it's in?
Mm-hmm.
Gucci won't repair it.
Mm-hmm.
I tried. And would you upcycle it? Would you embellish it? Would you
Hmm.
um like sew beads on it or paint it or put patches on it? Would you do something to it?
That's an interesting idea. Ugh, I'm not much of an upcycler. Like I wish I was. Like the most upcycling I will do is make jean cutoffs. Um,
Mhm.
but I don't. I'd be so scared. I'd be so scared to do anything to her. I
That's why I
wouldn't
haven't
want
done
to touch it.
anything with it
I would
yet.
put it on a shrine and just stare at it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm so
That's why
bad
it's
with
on the hook
designer.
right there. Yeah, yeah.
No, I
I'm
was
nervous about what to do with it. So that's why it's still sitting on the shelf right there.
Yeah, I think, I mean, even with condition issues like that, I think that people are still going to seek it out and buy it. I would list it as is. That's
Would you?
what I would
Okay.
do. I would. Yeah.
Mm. I was so excited when it came back as authentic. I love it. Maybe that's your answer, Sean. When I find something, I mean, you find fake all the time, but when you find something that is authentic, legit, like designer like that, Louis Vuitton or whatever,
Such a wild
that just,
feeling.
yes, that just gets me bubbles, just so excited. I love it when we find stuff like that. Yeah.
That's very interesting. I think if I had to pick my favorite thing that I like to experience at the bins, it's watching like fights break out. I don't know why, but like the evil part of me just like really enjoys that a lot. It sounds kind of awful, and we haven't had that happen here in San Francisco.
No.
The bins here are actually very tame, but in
Yeah.
Austin it was a daily basis. It is we've been to bins all across the country. I mean you have as well. The Austin bins are the most aggressive bins we've ever been to, but like by a long shot, a
Oh,
long
wow.
shot. And it's entertainment. Like, I mean, I remember one time because we didn't do hard goods, so we would watch the hard goods rotations. And when I tell you, there would be bodies flying over bins. It's true, and it was the best.
You mean to tell me you haven't gotten in a bin before to rescue that Burberry coat?
Oh no, I'm not talking about getting in a bin voluntarily. I'm saying
No, no.
involuntarily being thrown
Yeah.
into a bin.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, okay, well.
No, they're not jumping out of their own volition.
No, they're not diving for it. I mean, there are some
Oh.
dives.
The dives are cool. Like the dives are normal, right?
Yeah.
I've dove.
So normal.
Yeah. No, my favorite was there was a rack of
Oh,
golf clubs
God.
one time at the end of one thing, and it was a really good hard good rotation. I actually used to do hard goods, which is an interesting fun fact before I joined Bethany with Clothes.
Yeah.
But I remember I was going to go on this rotation. I was like, you know what, I'm going to set this one out. I'm a little tired. And I was watching the rotation start, and it looked really good. There was golf clubs. There was a KitchenAid. It was closed, so you couldn't see what was inside of it, but it looked like it could have been full with the actual KitchenAid stuff. And as the rotation started, there was people sprinting, and someone grabbed the golf club bag, and then they were fighting with somebody else, like a World War Z movie, to try to like grab it first. And then the person who was going for the KitchenAid thing flew over the KitchenAid thing and grabbed it as they flew over it, and they held on to it for dear life. And it was the best memory. I can see it right now in my mind's eye. It was amazing. I can replay the movie, and it was my favorite.
I feel like you guys need to recreate that skit and put that out. You need to like that should
I
be
don't
on
want to
your.
scare people.
Oh well, yeah. You know,
Because
a
it's
couple
not like
of people
that
got kicked
everywhere.
out, right?
Mm-hmm.
They asked him to leave. I've only seen.
Oh no, they were able to stay.
Oh no.
They were able to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Really?
fine. Only if you fight after a rotation. Like if it's like there's like a 30-second to a minute all-out war, at least in the
Frenzy?
bins, and it's a frenzy. And as long as no one gets really like actually hurt,
Someone has to let go, or else an employee will come over
Yeah.
and will take it away. And nobody get it.
Wow. I can't wait to go to those bins because I've not experienced anything like that. Usually, I mean, I've seen like Las Vegas, I've seen people get kicked out. Seattle, I've seen people get kicked out. Denver, I've seen people get kicked out. I've seen fights, but usually the management is like, done. Not again. You're out of this rotation. You need to leave, whatever it is. But
that was consistent in Austin too, but it's more so if you're like, there's this weird grace period where for the first 30 seconds to a minute, war is allowed. And then after that, if you're caught looking like a jerk, they will kick you out. Or they would kick you out faster if you skipped the line. So there was a line that you had to wait in. And if you stepped over the line before everybody else, they would kick you out faster for doing that than they would if you like knocked somebody over a bin.
Mm-hmm.
So it was an interesting experience.
I'm telling you, we used to say in basketball, you had to like box out, and
Yes.
you didn't like throw elbows. You just put them up there. And then I feel like sometimes in some locations, you do need to learn how to box out a little bit. But I think in Kansas City, there's no tolerance for that. So there was a guy standing next to me in a new rotation where you can go in, you can stand in front of the bin, but you can't touch it. Which is, I think, like that in a lot of places. They'll let you in, you'll stand, you find your spot, and then when they say go, you can shop.
Yeah.
If you are standing there and you're looking at something else and somebody says, are you going to go for that? I was looking at this milk crate and the guy goes, are you going for the milk crate? And I was like, I was thinking about it. And he goes, oh, okay, well then let's just flip for it. They will take the item the employees will come and get the item, take it out of the rotation. You'll go up to the front counter, they'll flip a coin for it, and then whoever wins the coin toss gets the item. So there's no
like
fighting. It
that.
was the
Yeah.
most civil rotation that I've ever seen ever. If only I could film it, they won't let me.
Oh
You know what the
man.
problem is? What we're talking about, no one is allowed to wait in front of the actual bin. So everyone has
Oh,
to wait. It's kind of like this frenzy because you literally don't know what you're running towards. You're made to wait behind a line and all of the bins are stacked in front of you. So it's like a vertical line. You are not
yeah,
allowed in front of the bin. So that is what creates this like massive movement forward. I think if they did
yeah.
something like that, it'd be a lot more
Yeah.
smooth.
Well, Denver was similar where they let you down the line, you find your spot, and everybody like gets ready to pounce, but you can't touch anything until they say, okay, shop.
Mhm.
If you are in front of a shoe bin, just stand back, let them get the sneakers out of the way, and then you can get the Rothy's and all the other things that you want. But
Exactly.
wow,
What's
it's
your
funny to
favorite?
me.
What were you saying?
Sorry. It's funny to me that every single location has something just a little bit different about the way
Oh
they do their
yeah.
procedures and their logistics and all that kind of stuff. So it's
Yeah.
super interesting that your bin's location just lets them run to the spot and start digging where we don't. I've seen that very few times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The awesome bins are
That's
unique.
why it's hard to explain because and honestly too, I will be honest, it's my favorite Goodwill location I've ever been to, I've ever dug in. I would bring that any place in the country and make it my home bin if I could. I love it so
Yeah.
much. But
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite bin story? So I told the one about the golf clubs. What's your favorite like crazy or fun or maybe even wholesome bin story?
I have seen fights in Denver, and I've got a video where I mean I'm trying to be a little discreet, but I've got my camera up here going. It's right in front of me, so I was trying to take video of that. But I didn't see that very often during the pandemic, and everything was shut down. They let things open up just a little bit at a time. So in Denver, where we were mostly sourcing, they had where you could have 30 people in at a time, and it's a massive bins location.
Nice.
So you could go in for 2 hours and it was just 30 people. Um, and when I went in, there was a bunch of guys that were doing like electronics, a bunch of guys doing sneakers, and a bunch of guys doing vintage t-shirts. And then me. So I felt like I had
Amazing.
the run of the place because I didn't necessarily need the vintage. Now, if I found a vintage t-shirt, I could pick it up, but I wasn't going for that. I wasn't going for the electronics and I wasn't going for the sneakers. So I picked up a Louis Vuitton cashmere beanie. I picked up 3 brand new old stock blow molds. I found 21 pieces of Lululemon, which at the time was so huge.
Yeah.
And the amount of things that I found in that one trip is just the golden trip. Like I probably had 80 or 90 pounds, and it was just Tory Burch after Louis Vuitton after
Wow.
uh I mean just bam, 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 fire after fire after fire. I could not believe how great it was. And then my 3 hours were up and I had to get into the end of the line. So part of me was like, hey, you have found as much as you could possibly find. My general rule was if I found the Patagonia and I found the Lululemon, it was time to go ahead and go home. I could not, that was the basis. Those two things were the things that told me that you should take a breath. You found some good stuff. You should go home. So I went home after that, but I think about it all the time. Why didn't I stay? Why didn't I get back in line? Because I don't know what else was in there. Everybody was cleaning out their closets at that time. Everybody was donating ridiculously cool stuff. And I was the only girl that was picking up the stuff like me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody else was picking up something completely different. So I don't know. I kick myself all the time for not going back, but that was such a good day. It was such a good day.
I
Mm.
feel like we all have that one golden trip that will stick out to us. Like we'll never forget.
No.
Yeah.
Man.
No, there was one day in Austin that we went. It was one of the hottest days of the year. So in Austin, I mean, in Texas it gets brutal,
Oh, I'm sure.
and sometimes the AC also went out
Ooh.
in the bins,
Mhm.
and it must have been like no joke in the bins. It must have been 85 degrees because it was like 105, 110 outside, and it must have been like 85, 90 degrees, and it was very sweaty, and everybody was upset, and a lot of people left early in the day.
Yeah, I
Started
would.
bringing out raw donations, and we got 296 pounds one day. It
It was
was
the
the
wildest day of my
all
life.
day long. It was rotation after rotation of just vintage, of brands, of it was
Mhm.
the highest. And Bethany found new with tags Alexander McQueen. We found Bluefish. We found like it was insane all day, and we were shot. I mean, it was.
Yeah.
And we were just sweaty, wet messes.
We had
Yeah.
3 carts full of clothes, and when I say like full, I mean three
Stacked. Yes.
gigantic stacked carts. It was I don't even know how we fit it in our Hyundai Elantra. It was insane.
Oh,
Yeah,
I don't know how you did that either. That's
yeah,
I had clothes all over my body, to be quite honest with you. You couldn't
oh
see
my
out of the car.
yeah. I
gosh.
couldn't even see out of the car. It
And
was
Oh
you
my gosh,
never
so
know, like the
perfect.
next time you go back, like I think that's why I love the bin so much, because you never know.
You
Like the
don't know
thrill of
what you're gonna come
not
on.
knowing what you're gonna find when your next like amazing day is gonna come, like that's it for me, you know?
Yeah, it's like Christmas morning and Black Friday all in one, all at the
Yes.
same time.
Yes.
The first time I ever had a 2 cart day, which I my friend Christopher that goes with me a lot, he would make fun of me because I went with, okay, I'm only spending $40 today. This is my budget. I'm gonna have to purge everything down. I have to edit my load. I'm gonna be tossing stuff to, so he loved hanging out with me. I'd be like, here, I can't, I have to fit this into my $40. This is my allotment for today. And I was really good at sticking to that. But one day we, and he always gets 2 cards, but one day there was brand new in the sleeves. When you wholesale plush, it comes, you get like a gross of them, and they'll come in packs of 12. And then the inside that pack of 12, they're all wrapped in their own package. So these were, a wholesaler had dumped them, or a business had gone out or something. So there was tons of brand new plush, and it was almost all the same. There was a whole bunch of bunnies, like so many bunnies. So I started picking them up thinking these are all new with tags. These are all like brand new. So I started gathering up all these bunnies, and then people were starting to toss me the bunnies and the dragons and uh, I mean, teddy bears, all the things. So I had this mounding cart full of all this brand new plush, and they were going to be about 63 cents a piece by the time I figured all of it up. And I thought, I don't sell plush, but if I did sell plush and this is costing me 63 cents and I'm going to get 14.99, and I only have to put it on one time because it's like it's either a pink bunny, a white bunny, or a chocolate bunny. I'm making so much more for doing so much less work. I don't know what to do. So I called my mom, I called my aunt, I called my dad, who both sold on eBay, and I said, I don't know if I should buy this or not. I feel like I could or I should, but I don't know what to do. And my aunt goes, you mean you're going to make 15 bucks on each one? Buy them. So I made so much and didn't have to do hardly anything, but I didn't intend to buy 2 cards that day. And I didn't intend to buy plush that day at all.
yeah.
So I, like, going back to what you said, not knowing what you're going to find.
You really don't.
No, and I probably made about $8,000 or $9,000 or something like that off of bunny rabbits, 14.99 at a time. It was
Oh my
bonkers.
God.
That's so awesome.
That is so cool.
Yeah, I'm a hardcore. I love yard sales and garage sales and flea markets because I am a negotiator. I am.
Ooh.
I hate to say it, it's a fatal flaw, but I'm gonna get the best deal possible, and I'm gonna make you feel good about it. Like I think that's the worst part. Like I'm gonna get a really good deal, and you're gonna end up
Why do you
feeling
think
good
that
about
that's
losing
true?
money. And I was gonna ask you too. So, as a mostly bin shopper, you have the bins. Obviously, you do, yard sales and flea markets when you can or when it makes sense for you. If you could only have one, and they were all replenishable, so obviously with yard sales and garage sales, it's hard because time of year and everything else. But in an ideal world, let's say there's like garage sales and yard sales every day, different neighborhood every single day. Or thrift stores, like what would you pick as your number one thing? Thrift stores, garage sales slash yard sales, or the bins, or flea markets?
Um, is if I'm just going and having fun,
Yeah.
um, I love a flea market. I also like the negotiation. However, I am such a cheapskate that it's really hard to be a flea market shopper sometimes because I'm so used to paying a $1.52 for my items. So I prefer a live in-person auction. Otherwise, I would go bins and then flea market and then garage sale.
Yeah.
So we had a townwide yard sale and I didn't go to any of them. I take that back. My neighbor was putting stuff out. I was out in my yard. The only reason I went to hers is because we were standing in our yard talking to each other. And as we were standing there, I was like, oh, those are nice boots. She goes, yeah, I only want like $10 for them. Brand new in the box, Ariat boots. Okay, sure. I'll give you 20 for them. I want those boots. So that's the only, I just don't do a lot of yard sales. I
Yeah.
like them. I just don't go.
Yeah, we're the same way. In Austin, we used to go during the fall because summer was just brutal and it was really brutal.
I
But
bet.
fall was so, oh, I love garage sales and yard
Yeah.
sales. They're my favorite. One time you were talking about the plushies that you made a bunch off of. There was this guy, an old Texan, old school Texan dude who had a bunch of Blu-ray DVDs in a giant box, and he had them listed. I think it was like $2 a piece or $3 a piece. And I was like, "How much do you want for the whole box?" And he looked at me
Yeah.
and he was like, well, you can pay instead of $3, maybe $2 be something like that. He gave me like $1 off. And I go, no, I'm not doing that.
No.
Most of these are absolutely worthless and it's gonna take me forever. Like I was trying to be like the New York negotiator and he wasn't liking that very much. So I had to switch up. You have to pick up on people's vibes, you know?
Yep.
Like, all right,
Yep.
the New York negotiator is not working. So I was like, listen, I'm gonna take all of these and I'm going to sell them on the internet. I'm probably going to lose money on a lot of these pieces. What would you reasonably take? And he goes, 150 for the box. And I go, 50 for the box. And he goes, 75 for the box. And I go, 50 for the box. And he goes, deal. And I took that whole box and I sold one Blu-ray for I think 150 because it was like a really cool, like rare
Oh my
Blu-ray.
gosh.
And I must have made like $2,000 or $3,000. Not as much as you'd made, not even close, but it must have been like $2,000 or $3,000 off of like all of those blue. It was when I say a box, I don't mean like a U-Haul box, like a medium-sized box from Walmart. I mean a two-arm carrying it like
That's awesome.
gigantic box. And that was an experience for sure. I love garage and yard sales.
Yeah. Yeah. I do like it's a lot more personal.
Yeah.
I like that. I like knowing the history of stuff, especially if you're going to be buying. I love to buy quilts. Love to buy quilts.
My favorite thing to find in the world is like a quilt coat. I have like I hit myself. I have found like I can on my hands I can count it. I have found 3 or 4 beautiful quilt coats in my life at the Goodwill outlet. And I don't
Mhm.
know why I've sold off all of them, knowing I cannot create
Oh,
one.
mm,
Oh, quilts are awesome.
yeah. Love finding quilts. And when you see a quilt in the bins, it just makes my heart hurt because I know how much work goes into those things
Mm.
and the history that's in some of them. One of the best things that I've ever found ever at the bins was a crazy quilt. And it was older. It had embroidery all over it, and it was made out of like weighted silks. So like older silks that a lot of times they would dye them with arsenic and mercury and stuff like that. So old velvets and stuff. And it was up on the top and nobody was really looking at it. So I kind of pulled it to the side and then somebody else grabbed it and they tossed it back. And I thought, if they're tossing it back, I'm grabbing this thing. So I folded it up and it had 1889 on it, embroidered on it. I was like, oh, that's old. So I folded that thing up and I put it in the bottom of my cart, took that thing home, linen pricing on it. So I got it for, at the time, I think it was like 49 cents a pound. So I got it for pennies.
Wow.
And I knew a girl that appraised quilts. So I thought, well, let's have her look at this. 1889 and it's in great shape. she appraised that thing for like $2,200 or something. I still have it because I'm so nervous to list it, like to take pictures of it, to not do it justice because it's so nice. I love finding quilts. It's one of
Yeah.
my faves. Quilts and shoes.
Oh well, the shoes part, that's a no-no for Bethany for sure. Quilts, I don't know. We'll see about her foray into quilts now that you're bringing it up. I think she'll probably dive a little bit into the
You
quilts,
already know I'm gonna start looking at them.
especially
I
once it's at 1889.
Oh yeah, no, that's
oh,
amazing. That is just, oh, when you find a piece of history like that, I think that's probably my second favorite.
and then you know it's on its way to the bin to the landfill. If you can
Ah,
just save that history and somebody's grandma somewhere made that and put so much, it takes months sometimes to make a quilt. So I have an affection for the ones that are like Depression era, or earlier than that. Sometimes the mid-century modern ones are good, but I like the ones that are older than, 50s and older. Those are my
yeah.
faves.
So speaking of quilts, plushies, and shoes, as
Hmm.
an everything reseller,
Yeah.
what is your, it's a two-parter. So what is your favorite platform right now, and what are you most excited about when it comes to reselling on these new platforms? There's Whatnot, there's
Mhm.
Poshmark, there's eBay, there's Depop, there's Facebook Marketplace, which is another great platform. For a while they had no fees, which was awesome. What
Yeah.
is your favorite platform, and like what are you excited about when it comes to reselling and on these platforms?
So I am so loyal to eBay because I've been on it for so long.
Yeah.
So it would be hard to drag me away from that. But I've been cross-posting to Poshmark, and I'm really surprised at how well I'm doing over there.
Mhm.
But I'm also on Whatnot, like you guys. That is so fun. So, I mean, it's hard. They all offer different things. I'm not on Macari. I'm not on Depop. I have a Depop, but I don't sell. I'm not the demographic for Depop. So it's foreign to me. It doesn't make sense to me. So I, if I venture out too many places, then I can't keep it all organized and focused. So I stick to right now, um, eBay, Poshmark, Whatnot. And then if I have big things, I put them on Marketplace, but
Mm.
Yeah.
it makes my life easier. But this cross-posting stuff, oh my gosh, it's so much easier when you do. I don't know if you guys do that, but it's so much easier. And then I have this tool that shares my closet for me all the time. It's
That's the best.
I think the tools that we have now that we didn't have when we first started, we didn't even have pictures when I first started doing eBay. So the tools that you have now to be able to do things better is so nice. It's so much better.
I
Yeah.
agree. That's why I always say, like, there is really no better time to become a reseller, right? I mean,
Mhm.
like, it only is getting easier in terms of meeting people that do the same thing as you. It doesn't feel
Ah,
like you're alone anymore, and there's so much
yeah.
fast resources and the tools. It just makes it easier than ever.
Yeah. And I think when you have the tools to be able to like do more without as much too much more effort or work, if they make it easier and you can expand your reach,
Exactly.
then it just makes it more fun to be able to go do the shopping and be like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so much fun on Whatnot. I can't, I found a whole bunch of slips, vintage 90s and slips. That was so fun on Whatnot.
Oh,
So then
that's
I
so
have
cool.
a purpose for the things that I'm finding. I like that, you know.
Yeah.
No, I think it's really cool too, seeing the diversity of items that you sell, also having a diversity of platforms that you're using for those specific items. As predominantly, not predominantly, as only clothing resellers, we really use the platforms that we use for that purpose, for, selling clothes, and we already know the platforms layout for that specific thing. But when you're having so many different items, it can get a little bit interesting to say, well, should I list this here? Is it going to perform better here? Do I price it the same here? Or would I price it differently there? Like on Whatnot, obviously, we are not going to be selling items for what they would sell for on eBay or on Poshmark or on Depop. They're going to be selling for maybe like oftentimes 50 to 70% of what they might sell for full price on these platforms. And you know that going into it. Sometimes they sell for 20, 30% because it's just such a, it depends who's in your show that day. And it's a very
Yeah.
interesting dynamic, especially with so much different kinds of items too.
Yeah, but I think also with Whatnot, which I'm I love it. I love I've had a like it's taken me a while to find a groove and I'm still working on that. I think it's an evolving thing, but just like going to a live auction, you don't know who's going to be bidding against you or whether or not they think that particular item that you're interested in, there might not be somebody there that's interested in just that. They might be here for something else. Same as the bins, you might be elbowing people in the shoe bin that don't want the same things that you do. They're looking for different. So, I mean, everybody, that's what's so cool about this too, is that everybody can have their own little nuance to it and be successful with it and enjoy it. So there's a market out there for everybody and everything.
Yeah.
Completely agree.
Over the last couple of years, with selling all these different kinds of items, obviously it's going to be a little bit harder to gauge because you have so many different streams of income because they're different items and they sell
Different
different.
platforms. Okay, sure.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
because like items, if you're selling just clothes, then there's this thing, obviously summer slowdown is a thing for clothes specifically because a lot of people are traveling. But I was also
yeah.
curious, like when it comes to selling these different kinds of items, do you find that there's a correlation, the same kind of thing, where there's maybe summer slowdown or maybe items sell better during a certain season?
Sure. Yeah. But I think that some people will say, oh, summer slowdown is, it's a myth. No, yeah, it's a thing. So when we had a brick and mortar store, we knew that June is just not great. It's just not. People are going outside. They're spending less time, in our case, less time on the computer, less time going to stores. So we would create, we had an outdoor flea market at our location so that it would bring people to us. They might shop outside mostly, but they came inside some and bought some stuff. So, there's definitely summer slowdown, whether it's clothing or shoes or uh, wares, whatever it is that you're selling. I do think that that's a thing. But I think that you just have to be creative and figure out how to adapt or adjust because the market's always changing and so should your business. I don't feel like anybody that ever is successful stays in one place and does one thing all the time. So I, for me, I knew that adapting might be hard, but in order to continue and to survive and to make sure that I didn't have to go get like a corporate job in a cubicle somewhere, I needed to create something to drive people to my business. So we created the flea market for the brick and mortar store. You run sales whenever you have a computer online store, or you do a pop-up. It's hot, but maybe you do a flea market somewhere. People
Yeah.
like flea markets the same as they like Whatnot, or you run things through what you just have to dip, dive, dodge.
Yeah.
We
Same things
completely
up.
agree.
I
Yeah.
was in my head, I was thinking to myself, well, I wonder if during the summertime, maybe if clothes were slowing down, you might be like, oh, this is the perfect time to sell baseball cards. I don't know. I was just curious because
Oh,
I don't sell stuff like that, so I
ice
wouldn't
cream
know.
makers. That's why I'm gonna
Ice
try
cream.
to get this thing done so that I can have
I get you.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
ice cream makers.
it's interesting too because obviously like for clothes when you transition seasons, obviously you want to start selling more seasonal items. So you're probably not going to be selling coats for as much in the summer as you would in fall or winter.
No.
But for an everyday
However,
seller,
if I were an only clothing seller and I had a pile of coats that needed to get, this is the time where you are having a lull, where you have more time to catch up on getting your death pile cleaned up or whatever. Hammer away at it now because you
Yes.
will not have time to list all those coats when it's time for the coats. So list them now and then they'll be up. They'll be ready. As soon as somebody needs one, that cold snap hits, you've got your coats up. I also say the same thing about swimsuits. If it is January, list the swimsuits because somebody in Canada wants to go to Florida and they need a suit and they can't get it at their Target. So
Oh yeah.
you're so right about that. And we've
Yeah.
always been, so for us, and this is not like one of those things where we're trying to sound better than, but whenever has been a summer slowdown, we've always just said, well, then screw it. We're going to list everything that we have in our, our
Everything you
savings
have.
pile, or we're going to go up by 5 listings a day so that we can increase a little bit. Because there is a dip. And like you said, it's kind of our job to combat that dip however
Mhm.
possible, because you don't want to take a $2,000 a month hit during the summertime just because it's summertime. Like you got to figure out flea markets or whatnot, or like what you're
Mhm.
saying, you just have to do it. There is no
Yeah.
optionality. I don't, it's just laying there and dying and waiting for the world to change around you, or
Yeah,
it's,
and
you know what I
complain
mean?
and bellyache and moan. I just I feel my dad said one time I didn't feel so good one day. I was like, "Ugh, I just want to sit here." And he's like, "Well, you can sit here and do nothing, or you can go out here and like be productive and get something done and still not feel good. Either way, you're not going to feel good. At least get something done."
No,
So while we're sitting here waiting for the, fourth quarter to start, let's go ahead and get some work done.
no.
So I guess and I'm not I don't want to give the perception that I'm a hustle hard all the time kind of girl, because I don't list every day like I should. I also know that in June or May, June, July, when things are slow, listing something just bumps you back up and keeps your algorithms or whatever active. I know that if I'm listing one or two things every couple of days, it keeps it keeps my store up to the top maybe or something. I don't know what kind of magic is happening on in that multiverse out there. And some people say it doesn't matter if you list or if you do list. I think it helps me if I list. So the more I list, the more chances are that there's going to be something that sells. So I'm just going to list as much as I can when I have nothing else to do. Or I'm going to start preparing for the pop-up, or whatever I can do now when I have time, because I'm not swamped with orders and shipping that has to get done in fourth quarter. Not that I am all the time, but sometimes I'm going to try to get as much done now while I have time.
Oh yeah, we are definitely of the same mind. I think whatever eBay or thrift lords and gods are out there, I mean,
Yeah.
the
I don't know
algorithm.
who you are, but
I do think you are rewarded for consistently doing things
oh,
that helps
yeah.
the platform grow, and that is listing, right? You can't make money if you don't list.
No. And I think too, it's I don't think that you're sounding at all like a hustle person either.
No.
I think it's just, at least for me, I'm a very blunt New Yorker, and it gets a little frustrating when people say like, "Oh, my sales suck," and you ask them, "Well, what have you been doing?" And they say, "Oh, well, the thrift sucks, so I haven't been going, and the bins have raised their prices by 20 cents, which makes no difference to my actual cost of good, maybe 2 cents, but I'm going to complain about it. I'm not going to go. And I went to a flea market and I bought an item and I didn't realize it was broken, and now everything sucks, so I'm just not going to do anything." And you're like, "Well, then I guess nothing's gonna happen." Like it's one of those
Yeah.
things where it's exactly what you said. You can sit there and complain about it, or you can complain. I'm a complainer. If anybody knows me, I am a moaner. I am a complainer, but I am a doer. So I will complain while doing, and that is my.
Yeah.
You can do both.
You can. You
Yeah,
do.
Yeah.
I
I'm
do.
a glass half full kind of a girl, generally, just my normal disposition. But I think if you go into any task, any day with a- an element of gratitude, you can't be angry and grateful at the same time. Can't. So no matter what it is that you're doing, just be grateful that you have the opportunity, that you have the time, that you have the knowledge, whatever it is, just be in some way. There has to be something about any situation that you can be grateful. And it makes it so much easier to get stuff done. It makes it so much easier to tackle that death pile. It makes it so much easier to clean those shoes or whatever it is that you got to do to be grateful with it so that you can get through it. And if that means summer slow down, then I guess that's what that is. I'm so glad it's so nice outside.
I completely agree. I'm the same way. I can completely see how that it changes your outlook on not just your business, but how you treat those around you and how you
Mhm,
treat those in yourself and your business are often interconnected.
mhm, mhm.
It's the old expression that nothing has meaning except for the meaning in which I give it. And that's something that I definitely, when you run a business, I think you have to relate to that. When you get that eBay message from that one super rude jerk who's messaging you like, "Hey, you didn't ship my order after 3.5 hours of me ordering it, and I'm gonna report you to the IRS for tax fraud because you are running a fake business," or something.
Yeah.
And you're just sitting there looking at your screen and you choose peace over violence. It is that moment of
Yeah.
clarity and just
You think about
cancel.
that guy that's messaging you like that and just think, oh man, he needs a hug. They're
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
they don't know me. It was just an experience of their perception. So if they're perceiving through their half empty glass, then they just need a hug. And it doesn't have anything to do with me. I, and I think that a lot of times people take a lot of this very personal. Like, I can't believe that low ball offer. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, you want a bargain too. So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
and you don't know what their situation is. Maybe they really, really want it, but they've only got $20. So I don't know. I I try not to think too hard about anything either. This isn't personal, it's business kind of thing.
Yeah.
No, I'm the worst. Oh my God. I'll tell you one quick story before I ask you a question. I
I
told this
love this
story to
about
I told this story to our group and they judged me so hard the other day.
Oh man.
I used to go onto Mercari and I was a menace. Someone would list like Air. I got my first pair of AirPods because they had them listed for like 150 and I got them for like $40. And it's just because I found everybody who had AirPods and then I went and I filtered to oldest listing and I just went through all of them. And I was like, hey, dude, this is not selling for you. And it's like, you know what? If they don't want them, they can just say no. If they don't want to accept my offer, they can just block me. But you can't fault me
that
for
is why you're
trying.
blocked.
You know what I mean? But you can't, and I
Yeah.
don't, I don't take it personally when they block me. But you
Mhm.
can't fault me for trying. I bought so many things on Mercari. I flipped things from Mercari, how cheap I would get them. So that was a little tidbit.
But you don't do it anymore.
No, but segueing into a different category, another reason why I thought it was really exciting to talk to you is you have a very successful YouTube channel. So what was your impetus for starting this channel? Like what was the thing that got you deciding to start making content?
Isn't it so weird the way things like that happen? Okay, so that haul that I was telling you about that I found that all like the amazing stuff. I just wanted to be like, somebody needs, if I don't tell somebody, if I don't show you, then it didn't happen.
Yes.
So I had Instagram and I'd been putting stuff up on there and I don't know how that happened, but I've been on Instagram for quite a while and I had one video or one post when it was just pictures that really popped off and did really well. And then all of a sudden in one day, I had like 847 followers or something ridiculous like that. And I was like, what? So silly.
Yeah.
Wonder what would happen if I put another one up. So that's Instagram happened accidentally also. I was just sharing what I had been finding because if I didn't share it, then nobody would believe me that I'm finding these ridiculous things.
Yeah.
Um, but then after that, I thought I need to do a haul of this. And I didn't. And then my husband was like, we should do a travel channel because we love going to all kinds of different places. And you guys, if you've seen my videos, know that we go a lot of places. So he says, we should do a travel channel. And we have a travel trailer. And a lot of the people that we like to watch on YouTube, that's what they do. And it was really popular to have a channel like that a little while ago. So I got out my camera and I was taking videos and stuff. And he was like, don't be on here. Well, I don't know how to have a travel channel if we aren't doing this together, then I don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
So the only other thing that I could do that was consistent was I was binge shopping. So it it accidentally became, okay, if you want to have a YouTube channel, I can do this and I don't need your help. I like having his help, but he didn't want to be on camera, so it became this. And then I just have been very fortunate and grateful that everybody that has popped in and said hello or done a thrift challenge with me or watched the videos is just it just blows my mind that people will watch. It's just crazy to me because I'm just doing what I do and
Yeah.
it's just on camera. It's so funny to me. It's so cool, so crazy, so weird, and so fun. I really like doing it. I
Yeah.
really like.
It's interesting too because we've talked to a couple other YouTubers and resellers who also have either social media following on Instagram or YouTube, and everybody gets started seemingly for a different reason. And it's pretty cool because for you it seems like it just kind of came as a natural progression from the Instagram page to just wanting to share and show
Yeah.
what you were finding.
Yeah.
Caleb wanted to do a lot more education for people who, when he first got started reselling, a lot of people didn't know a lot about certain things. And he was also at one point kind of an everything reseller and
Hmm.
moved into men's clothes, and he's had a lot of success with it. So he was
Yeah.
showing off more about men's clothes. So I think it's really cool kind of hearing the story of what got people started on YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah. So what made you guys start?
You want to talk about it?
Man, I don't know.
You of course you know, silly.
He has been wanting me to make a YouTube channel for a long time. And boy,
Hmm.
I kind of wish I did because like looking back and I don't have the video evidence of like our experiences and like I can imagine putting up a video of me going to the bin 7 days straight for months and like having this marathon and having it be on camera. So looking back, I wish we started so much sooner.
I think that's what everybody says. We should have started sooner.
Yeah. Yeah. I think like we looked at each other one day and I had this Instagram page that I wasn't really using, but I had some followers on because of our wholesale business. And I was like, I think it came from the same thing, like this wanting to share because I mean, I love Sean. Sean's an awesome trash panda too. And he says it all the time himself. His passion does not exactly lie in clothing. And that's totally okay. This
Mhm.
is a business for him, and this is a passion for me. It's a
Yeah.
passion out of business for him. And
Yeah.
I think it grew into this like not just wanting to share, but wanting to share our experiences because I think they're so different. Just like yours is so different than a lot of other experiences that you see. And I think that if more people were aware of the different things that you could do, the different opportunities, I think that reselling could be so much more accessible to everyone.
Yeah, there's
Well, and I think you two, though, what's fun is you can tell that you analyze, Sean, like the business part of it. And I think that's so helpful to have somebody that talks about this, and then you can talk about, it's a good mesh. It's a good blend because, oh my gosh, I could watch your Instagrams like all the time. They're so fun.
Oh,
I love them. So
that's
whenever
so
you messaged and you're
sweet.
like, you want to do this, I was like, that's so cool. I know them.
I was
watching
gonna
stuff like
say,
that. Yeah.
although I mean, honestly, did I start watching you because it was entertaining or because I learned? Well, I clicked because I was like, who is this? I kept watching because it's the bins, and
Yeah.
then I kept going back because of all of the things that you picked up that honestly I never would have known to take a second look at.
No.
And even though I
Oh,
was a clothing seller, like I would find myself literally walking through the hard goods like side eye, like, ooh,
oh
like what is
yeah.
that over there? Picking it up. And I remember like
Look up everything.
I don't even remember why, but one of the only hard goods I've ever sold was because I was watching your video the previous day and I was actually like I'm gonna look today. And it was during the pandemic. So it was a lot of 10 clickers. 10 clickers that you can use in a classroom. And I don't look at hard goods
Oh,
at all. Only because I saw your video and I think I sold it for like $100. I was so scared
I
to ship
remember that.
it that like I didn't want to do it ever again. But I was so proud and I never would have done it if I hadn't watched your video, which is why I
that's
think that
cool.
you literally take sprinkles of everything that you ingest. And
Mm,
that is like what makes you as a reseller.
No.
you're too sweet.
Yeah, I
Mm.
remember when she brought those clickers
I was
home,
so
and she brought them in
excited.
like this little like black bag, and she was like, "Look what I found today!" And I thought you sold clothes, and and it was that was
I'm trying
definitely
something new.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was definitely fun.
I think it's I don't you think though that whenever you pick something up and just like we were talking earlier about seeing what everybody has on and doing a little bit of comp research while you're standing in line waiting for your whatever. I do the same thing just hanging out at the bins while you're waiting for a new rotation. I'm not the kind of person that when the bins rotation is over, I go sit down. I just keep digging. I
Oh
don't
yeah.
stop. But a lot of times I was in Omaha and I usually walk in the door, pick up a basket or a box or something, toss it on the floor, and then I will search for things and then toss it in the basket and then kick the basket down the aisle. that's probably annoying to some people, but that's how I function.
Mhm.
And so I picked up this basket, and this is this like mustard yellow laundry basket. And I didn't even think about it. Put it on the floor, started digging, kicked it down the aisle. I got down to the end of the aisle and I thought, where's my cart? I don't know where my cart is. Picked up my basket, walked in, and as I'm walking, I'm like, wow, the handles on this basket aren't broken. That's so weird because every basket, laundry basket, the handles break.
Oh yeah.
And this thing is old. It's yellow. It's got to be from the 70s. So I put it in my cart, looked that thing up, and they were selling for 50 and 60, $80, some of these things. And I was like, are you kidding? And I'm kicking it across the floor. So I think that was the light bulb that made me think, I need to look everything up. Look up
Yes.
everything. And you cannot wrap your brain around how some things sell. Uh, limited to shopping bags, plastic shopping bags, they were selling for like $20. So I I happened to pick up a plastic shopping bag that said limited to on it. For it sell it for $20. They bought literal garbage from me for $20. I cannot wrap my brain around that. It's great.
That's
But
so funny.
when you start looking everything up, then it just is mind blowing, the stuff that sells.
No.
Completely agree. There have been so many times where I'm just looking around and I will actively tell people like there's still stuff here. Like I'm still digging, like you should not leave yet. Even now at the bins we go to, people will leave after that initial rush and I'll keep going and I'll keep going. And I say, like I give our strategy outright. I say just keep digging.
Keep
Touch
digging.
everything. Just keep going. People miss things. And I think that's the thing. You need to have that like the eye for wonder for just sheer, it's like childlike imagination, like
Mhm.
as you're digging, right? And I think that's what propels you to keep going, not like, oh, I'm gonna make so much money off of it. So I think that's the
Yeah.
separation.
Yeah. I think finding the value in it, whether it's just getting more knowledge, getting more information,
Yes.
or finding out if it has monetary value.
Mhm.
Both are good. So I don't like to go sit down unless I'm, need a break. I'm kind of tired. I need to go get a drink of water and a snack and sit down for a second. That's when I edit. That's when I start going through some of my cart, and I'll start tossing things back, looking for flaws, deciding whether or not is it worth my time to clean it and wash it and iron it and lay it out and measure it and list it and cross post it. I want to make sure that I'm getting the best value for my time in addition to how much money I can make off of it.
I'm a sitter, so I'm not gonna. I'm a huge sitter. I finish a
Do your
rotation.
thing though. Like I wouldn't get so
Huh.
many pieces if it wasn't for you. You do your thing.
Yeah, but I go through it like once, and I'm like, I'm gonna go, over there.
I'll go back over. He knows I'm gonna go back over it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Bethany's not a
Yeah.
sitter at all.
No, I'm gonna go over it. I'm gonna find what you missed.
I guess I know that, I mean, I'm putting out videos that makes it look like I haven't been to a bins in a couple of weeks. I don't go as often as it probably is perceived that I go, because sometimes I'll do two videos in one visit.
Mhm.
But I definitely think that if I'm gonna go and I'm gonna spend the day and I'm gonna make the most amount of time, most from my time at every visit that I go to. So sometimes I'm gonna be there for an hour and I might only be able to pick up, 10 pounds. Other times I'm gonna go and I'm gonna spend the whole day and I'm gonna get 90 or 100 pounds. I just don't know how. It depends on what the day looks like. It depends on
Yeah.
how many things that they bring out that you're like, I need all of those. I need two cards. Give me another card.
That's very funny.
Oh man.
As the YouTube has grown over time, obviously with growth of YouTube, there comes comments and different kind of opinions. And I'm curious, I asked this to Caleb too, and I think it's interesting to hear your opinion too. Do you get personally invested in like views and comments, anything like that? Because I'm a little bit more distant from it. Bethany takes it a little personally, and it's very interesting to see how different people react to having even 500 people look at your stuff or 100 people look at your stuff. And then as you grow, now you're at almost 12,000. It's like it continues to grow and there's more comments and there's more opinions. And how do you deal with that in your own business or like in your own content creation?
The first time that I got something that was like the first comment, and I'm really grateful. I don't get a lot of snarky comments. Knock on wood that continues.
Yeah.
I've gotten a couple, but the first one I got that kind of like dug at me. It said I wish you would they didn't like my music. They equated my music to the kind of music that you would find on an X-rated video is what it was. They called it that kind of music. And I was like, oh my gosh, is my music really like that? Now I got to go back and listen to every single one of them and analyze it and think,
Oh,
I shouldn't use it. I
no.
will never use that clip ever again. But you know what? I liked the music. So
Yeah.
I guess, and then in the very same video, one time I do a video where I show you what I sell and then I speed the video up and then I toss the package at the end. So sometimes when I'm watching it and I'm doing the voiceover, I talk really fast because I'm watching it and it's going really fast and I need to remember to slow down and say my words better. And so in the very same video, somebody said, slow down, you're talking way too fast. And then the very next comment was, you talk too much, get to the point. And I was like, you can't make people happy. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to do what I do. And I had one comment recently that said, I can't remember, whatever it was snarky. And I thought you just need a hug. It's not me. It's your perception of that. And I can't change that. So I'm just going to keep doing what I do. And if you don't like it, don't click on it, you
Yeah.
know? And if
That is
you
the most
don't like it,
amazing thing.
or just don't say anything. What does your mom say? If you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been
Come
so
on, guys.
amazing to see people do that because it's like my favorite so far has been one of us, I don't know who it was because we haven't rewatched it, but one of us said cost of good instead of cost of goods with an S,
Yeah.
like a video. And this comment has 8 likes and like I think 7 or 8 people replied to it. And I'm thinking to myself, if that's what you took away from a video that's showing you how to save tens of thousands of dollars in your business, that's pretty amazing, the negativity that people can have. And it cracked me up. I literally commented on it. I was like, LOL, it's so funny that this is the top rated comment on the video. And someone responded and they said, that's because it makes you look stupid and unprofessional. Or no, it makes you look stupid and what was it?
I thought you were going to bring up the one about your big head.
Oh, that was a different one. That one didn't bother me. That one didn't bother me too much. It was, it makes you look stupid and uncredible. And I'm like, wow. Yeah. And then someone else said, oh, it's a business term. If you run a business, you should use it. I'm like, well, how about you make a YouTube video and you get every single word right in a 37-minute basically masterclass on saving money in your it just cracked me up. So
Yeah.
it's been, for me, it's funny. For Bethany, she's like, oh no, I said cost of good.
No, don't take it to
Like
heart.
you.
Do you follow Lady Arbitrage on Instagram?
No, I don't think I do.
You need to follow Lady Arbitrage. First of all, she is an amazing human, a great person, really good reseller, like ridiculously good. But she will post the horrible things that people say on her TikToks and stuff like that. And she's just like, yeah, keep commenting because it just brings me more money. Every comment is engagement. Every time that there's engagement, like the guy that's got how many likes, it's just pushing it back up to the top. Great. Keep talking, guys. She says it just brings her more money. Good for her. It's attitude, perception. I'm grateful that they took the time to post that because it just created more engagement. The more engagement means that it just gets more energy. The more energy that it has, the momentum it gets, the more views it has. I have one that is a how to authenticate a Longchamps bag. And I found it at the bins. I wanted to make sure it was legit. So I did all the research to find out whether or not this bag is legit. So, okay, I'll do a video about it. This is how I find out. This is whether or not it's a Longchamps bag. And I say Longchamps, but they say Longchamp. Longchamp, Longchamp. So I said it several different ways. some people get really bent out of shape
I
about the way I was
remember
saying it.
that. I remember.
But it's got 40,000 views, so I'm not going to be too mad about it.
I like that. I thought that was a great video.
Yeah. It didn't go off very well when I first did it. When I very first did it, it got like less than half the normal amount of views. And the people that are like, they don't miss a single video, those people watched it and commented. But a lot of people were like, I don't need to know how to do that. Maybe a reseller doesn't, but there's a whole bunch of other people that are out there that do want to know how to authenticate their Longchamps bag from a thrift store. So they're watching it, and it consistently gets views every week, and it's a year old. So
Yeah,
That's cool.
that's super cool. Yeah, I like. I don't know. I get a kick out of it when people comment mean things, even in real life. Like when people comment mean things,
I tell them not to tell me. Like, I don't need to know. I'm good.
Yeah.
I just don't. Again, luckily I haven't had too many, and I'm sure that now that we've talked about this, it's just I'm gonna
Oh
get in.
boy, no.
It's just not. I think that Prince said one time, the musician, he's like, it's a reflection on them. If they are ugly enough to say something, then they're the ones that have the issue. You're putting yourself out there, you're creating something for everybody to enjoy, or or not, but that doesn't mean that you have to say something. So if they are the ones that are about, whatever, that's your fault. That's your problem, not mine. I'm not gonna let them change the way I'm gonna behave. I'm still gonna try to be nice to you, even though you're a booger. I
There you
can.
go.
Yeah, we follow the same rule. And it's like when it's honestly such it's a minuscule percentage as well. And
Yeah.
it's like we have had our YouTube and our Instagram, our social medias for such a short amount of time. I was so scared to join for a while because of this fear of being perceived,
Same.
right? And
Mhm.
I was the overwhelming support, positive support that we got was like so heartwarming to me.
Yes.
Like they're just the messages and the comments that sometimes we would get, and I won't say anyone by name, like it's all private, it's intimate to me because I do take it personal, and I think that is a benefit because to me I'm personally invested in making
Mhm.
sure that I can be of value and be of use, and I that's why I block it out because it's such that like minuscule percentage, and I know that we're like every single one of your videos has positively affected me in small ways that you didn't know about until now. And to think that now we can have the same effect on others is probably the
Yeah.
reason why I wish we did
Oh,
that sooner.
No.
yeah. I procrastinated doing it because a lot of those same reasons. You you don't want people to be mean or hateful to you. You don't want to open yourself up to that. But there's more benefit from it I've gotten than negative. And there's a guy named Reezy that does a lot of um, YouTube and Instagram and social media type stuff. And I reached out to him and I thought he's not even gonna pay attention to me at all. And I was like, I'm a little nervous about doing this. Do you think that this is, I mean, what do you give me your opinion? Are people really that hateful and that ugly and that mean? He goes, no, just do it. Don't. And if they're mean or ugly, that's them. He said that he has people that would make a comment about, I don't remember what it was, something like they didn't like his hair or they didn't like it or whatever it was. I blocked the words hair because I don't want people talking about my hair. I'm not going to do my hair. Some days I don't care if I do my hair. I did my hair for you guys. I usually put it up in a ponytail, and I don't want people telling me that you need to cut your hair, you need to color your hair, you need to do something with your hair. I don't want to hear it. So I just blocked that word. You can't make a comment that has the word hair in it. So now I
That's
don't have to see it. I don't, doesn't make
I like
anything to me.
that.
I should
Oh,
block
no.
forehead
Oh, I was
because
gonna say head.
the forehead might be an interesting one. I got like 2 comments about my forehead, which is kind of funny. I mean it's great. I think someone said something about like landing a plane on my forehead. I was like, yeah, you know what? That might be a good one actually. I think you might be able to, depending on it depends on the size of the plane. If it's like one of those rickshaw planes that's landing on like an island, I think you could. A bigger one, maybe not, but
See, and what kind of a mean person says something like that, except for maybe somebody in second grade? So I
Right.
guess I just don't pay any mind to that because I just think that that is just silly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On a separate note, I did want to ask you too, as we're getting ready to wrap, which is what, as someone who's been doing this for so long, and someone who has so much varied experience with different platforms, as the platforms have evolved too, and different kinds of items, what would be your advice to someone who is just getting started in reselling, and then also your advice to someone who's already been doing this for a while too, and is maybe trying to step up their game a little bit?
Oh, so I think we hit on all of the answers for that. If you are just getting started, look everything up. Look it all up. And don't be afraid to take chances with that. Uh, I mean, when I say take chances, like you picking something up that is outside of your wheelhouse. If you are not normally a plushie seller and you pick up 2 cartfuls of them, take a chance because if the numbers seem to work, then try it, but look everything up.
No.
Um, but as far as somebody that's been doing it a long time, I think there are so many different ways to do this and be successful that it's really hard to change strategies sometimes because you get in such a rut and you just feel like you know what you're doing. I don't need any help. I think accepting help or looking at things in a different way or from a different generation or a different genre, I think that's important too. That's hard for me to remember to do. So I guess just like Monday motivations are more for me, maybe I'm giving that advice so that I will pay attention to that and maybe be okay with um, evolving to something that I didn't even see that I wasn't expecting. So when somebody points it out to me, being receptive of that. So
No.
maybe that's it.
I really like that.
That's a huge point for sure. I think sometimes we forget that there's so much to learn no matter how long you've been doing something or where you're at.
Totally. Yeah, we went to a couple of reseller meetups. A friend of mine, Angie Resells. We've we between the two of us, we've got over 50 years of experience on eBay. And we went to the first meetup and we were like, we're just going for the friends because you can't teach us anything. We've been doing this way long. Most people haven't even been alive, and I've been doing this. We got in there and sat down and listened to a lot of the things just because everybody was in there. That's what we were doing. And I was like, oh, I never thought about that. And she's like, I know, look at us. We're doing it wrong. So that was the theme of that meetup. Oh my gosh, we're doing it wrong. We're doing it wrong. We're doing it wrong. We learned so much. And I think that was so eye-opening for us that, oh my gosh, we have so much to learn. We could be so much better at this. We could be so much more productive with this, so much more income if we did this. It really floored us that we had so many opportunities that we were missing because we were just so stuck in our little rut that was successful, but could have been so much better. So
Yeah. The last question I have for you, and the people want to know. The people meaning me and Bethany. Uh,
say, did you poll somebody or
I
was
polled.
polled.
Bethany was polled. We polled all of the members of the household. We have 2 cats, and both of them also would
Rupert
like
and
to know.
Eloise have also voted.
okay.
Yeah, they've also voted, and we gotta know, where did the name A Rural Squirrel come from?
Oh, okay. So I think I've had this name in the back pocket for a long time because I think it just is fun to say. And it makes you stop and say it again because it was fun to say. Rural squirrel. Oh my gosh, rural squirrel. Oh, that's so cute. That's so fun. And it's at the top, rural squirrel. So whenever you're looking at your subscription channels, is up there first. So you see me every single time, but it's a rural squirrel. And then you say it again. And then everybody says, oh my gosh, that's a fun name. But you don't know, am I a salad place or do you get your haircut there or am I a boutique? I like the ambiguity of it because I can be on YouTube or I could be, uh, I can do so many different things with it, but I liked it that it made you slow down and say it and think about how fun it was. And and then what is that? And where do you go? And is this the guy or a girl? And I mean, just it made you question things and you spent time on it. So then it was in your brain.
No, that is not the
Psychology.
answer I was expecting, and
That is so
I think that's the
cool.
best part of it. I think
Yeah.
it's so
Because at the
cool.
time I was neither rural and I don't really care one way or another about squirrels.
That's a very, very
Yeah.
valid point.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
And everybody's like, you need to be like a plural rural girl squirrel.
Wow,
That's
that
way
would
too much. I can't do
I
that.
don't know how that would rank in the SEO
Yeah.
or on the side panel,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's super cool. I love that.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
How
thank you.
did you guys come up with Trash Panda? Because Trash Panda is like, I mean, that's fun.
Yeah, we came up this has been our official business. I'm not joking. This is our official business name as recorded by the government. And that is why we have the name. We just sat down one day and we wanted to have an interesting name and it wanted to be something about thrifting. And I went, okay, what do I do? I I only really source at the Goodwill outlet and I dig. Who digs? A raccoon. Just another
Mhm.
name for a raccoon.
Trash Panda. Yep.
Panda.
Trash pandas. And
Yeah,
there's two. So trash pandas.
no,
Two
That's
pandas.
awesome.
that was
I love it.
we have a where is it? Hold on, let me see if I have it
Oh
over here.
man, we have something for our namesake.
I think I have
That
it.
we also we didn't find that at the bins, but we did find something else at the bins with our name on it.
We found this in Waco
It
actually.
was during a sourcing trip.
We found this in Waco
Oh,
too. It was
that's
pretty.
so
A
cute.
little while after we initially formed Trash
Is it a
Panda.
book or a DVD? I can't see.
No, it's like a board. It's a card
board
game.
Oh, it's a card game.
Yeah, it's like a
Mhm.
cool card game.
That is epic.
Unfortunately, we don't get any royalties for it, but you know that's life.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
sometimes you
Yeah.
win, sometimes you
Oh, they don't
lose.
come after us.
I
Maybe you can put your Amazon affiliate link in the bottom and they can get their own
That's
stuff.
great. Everyone, let's play a card game together
For the
online.
Trash Pandas thrift. That is so funny. I remember we played it in a bookstore together, and that was fun.
And it has followed us with every move that we've done ever since.
Oh,
It's on there and we look at it.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, but we appreciate your time so much today. This was so much fun,
Thank
and I'm
you.
so glad that Bethany reached out and we got to get in
Oh,
touch.
me too. I am so, when you reach out, I was like, oh my gosh. I was having a little bit of a fangirl moment too, because I was so excited. Yeah, you guys have a great Instagram. Great content all around. So love it.
Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you so much.
if you guys are not already, make sure you go check out A Rural Squirrel. I like saying it. It's kind of fun.
It is cool.
A Rural
right?
Squirrel
Yeah.
on YouTube and Instagram. I'm going to put the link to her channel down below so that you guys can just click that and go directly and subscribe to her channel. And thank you guys for watching today.
Thanks for having me so much.
Guys.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.